Now, today's shop project is going to involve an ST2 fairing repair. Glenn is going to demonstrate his buffing technique for buffing out paint. This fairing has some damage to the paint, some cracks, a piece missing that we're going to have to fill. And I'm going to try to give some tips for using CA. But like all of our shop projects, it's an ongoing thing to share information. And sharing this information, sometimes it's a little tricky. We work with a lot of other people in the shop, and everybody brings their talents to the table. And it seems like in the end, we do get a lot done. And actually, in the case of Glenn, this was a bike that I think this might have been his first Ducati, in fact. And of course, he really treasured it, and he wanted to get every little detail straightened out on it. And this was a very productive day. Glenn's got a fairing. This is one that has, I've repaired that already. That's my repair. But we never painted this, did we?
No, that was never done.
This one's got a crack somewhere. Here's a crack. We're going to try to repair that. It's got a touch-up area. Because he wants to get this piece of the Ducati. Did you ever figure out the overheating thing?
I haven't yet. I talked with Mark last night.
Mark, have any ideas?
Yeah, Mark said it's very. Luciano also very possible that it just boiled itself off with a loose cap.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean,
well, take the cap off your other bike. Just switch them and see if that makes
it. Doesn't fit. I tried.
Oh, okay.
I wish it did.
Take the one of Luciano's and don't tell him.
Gonna have to go to Luciano's house.
Hey, Luciano. Okay.
Yeah. So this part has never been touched.
This is not. This is the side that we repaired.
We never repaired any of this stuff.
Okay, the bike was damaged on the clutch
on the
side.
left-hand side, yeah.
Okay, so the things we're going to work on, we got a crack somewhere up here. Anyway, I know
there's a crack here. We have a
touch up here.
A touch up here, and then part of this fairing had already been repaired with some carbon
so we're going to
fiber
make that little piece, or just fill it with filler.
Right.
Since it's on the bottom, we don't have to be too fussy about that.
No.
But for sure. The start thing is to fix the crack.
Fixing the crack.
Flip that up. Now we got to peel this away somehow.
Right.
What holds that on? Is it just?
It's glued on. So I've already started to peel
we
it
can
away.
re-glue it. Just take enough that we can get some carbon fiber down in there. The first thing on this repair, we got one strip of unidirectional carbon fiber across bridging the crack before we put in the patch. That'll just keep, because these cracks start at the edge. Usually,
so here's the crack itself.
Yeah.
If you follow that path, this is the crack coming up this way into the fairing. So you got one piece of this carbon fiber strand that Wendy started straight across where the crack started. Didn't start down here, it started up here. So if we don't repair this up here,
you're toast.
You're going to continue to have issues.
You know, that's really in there. You got 5 layers of carbon on there. So, but if this doesn't crack here, it's never going to crack here. It's got to start. Like tearing a phone book, it's got to start at the cover and work its way in.
Right.
So now we'll cut a patch exactly this size, put that patch in, and then start on the other side.
Right. Is it in here or?
Yeah, it's in there. The scrap box. Spread it all around.
So Wendy, it's the dust that's in this Q-tip?
It's the dust in the Q-tip that kicks it off slowly. The kicker kicks it off quickly.
Just give me a little bit of the thick right here so I can just lay it on top. Just a little dot right here. That's it. That's it.
Okay, whoops. By the way, this is what we're using, Brodac cyanoacrylate. And the thin.
Quick acting and not so quick.
But between it, now once we got all that carbon fiber laid down, that's going to just dry. Then we'll sand around that, clean it up a little bit, and then glue this piece back, and then we'll work on the cosmetic part of this.
To do some sanding, but the problem with using your fingers to do sanding on this carbon fiber is the carbon fiber now sets and it turns into a hard splinter. And if you get a carbon fiber splinter in it, so I learned this trick from a guy. I don't know who he is, but he lives in this house.
Evil twin. He is evil.
Take a paint stirrer.
Yep.
Just throw a piece of sandpaper over it, and instead of you getting the splinter,
let the paint stirrer get the splinter. And now we're all done with this. We're going to put an extra layer of CA over that. And then that rubber goes right back in position, and then we just have to try to dress off the other side of it.
If you want to know how strong, now this bike hit a paint can, but there was already a crack down here where you could see this is an old carbon fiber repair.
This is the old repair we did a couple of years
about
ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
If you want to know how strong the carbon fiber repair is in comparison to the actual glass piece or plastic, the ABS.
Yeah, it's plastic.
The ABS,
The ABS breaks, and the carbon fiber doesn't.
The carbon fiber never went anywhere.
Sure.
So I guess that's why they charge $1 million for a Varion, the Bugatti. Maybe that's why.
The windy Varion, huh?
Can we do the whole fairing in carbon fiber?
Well, if this were a race bike, the whole fairing would be carbon fiber,
Right.
except you'd be broke.
And think about, but I mean, in terms of the
You'd have to use Luciano's money.
Right, in terms of how light this roll of carbon fiber actually is, and how strong it is.
But think about it. That roll of carbon fiber is $350. No, so I mean, you get what you pay for. This plastic is probably 9 cents a kilo or something.
All right, I'm gonna go one more time in there.
Yeah, one more. Put a little more in there, and then spread it around with a Q-tip. And you can feel the Q-tip start to drag. Then you know you're at the end of the shelf life, which is about 30 seconds if you don't use kicker. Now you should always keep, just general information, should always keep this material in the refrigerator. It should never be, let me just show this. I always like to show things in real time. Oh, I forgot to do the laundry this morning. We're so excited. This is what you should do. Oh, Karen Berry, oh, there it is down there. You should always keep the paint, the 4-to-1, the hardener in the refrigerator, not the freezer. And the CA extends the shelf life by a lot. I wish somebody would extend my shelf life.
Get in the fridge.
Put me in the fridge. Put me in, Coach. Okay, so that looks like...
Yeah, I just want to give it one last shot of kicker.
Okay, give it a shot of kicker. And I think then that part of it now is in the bank. That's a good repair.
This is a nice repair. This is
now, if nothing else, even if you still see the crack on the other side, it's not going to crack worse.
That's done.
Okay, the final thing, we put a little bit of contact cement on this because that rubber, what is that?
It's almost like a foam padding.
It looks like, yeah.
That keeps the heat from...
Yeah, okay. It makes it aerodynamic inside the cowling or whatever here, the fairing. Okay, now see, the nice thing about the contact cement, if you have to pull this up...
Just going to leave it here to set it.
Yeah. Or you can put a piece of Gorilla Tape there. Or that silver tape. You know that silver stuff that, like for air conditioning. That's even better than what the factory uses. Yep. Just remember, the factory doesn't always use the best possible stuff. So they use the cheapest.
Here's going to be the telltale.
Okay, so let's see. Pull that up and see how much tape sticks to the fairing, if any. You have a clean?
Little tiny hair.
Okay.
So come around this side and you'll see it.
Okay. Okay, now you got to make the choice. Do you want to repaint that? Or do you want to just run a little touch-up paint in there?
I'm going to run touch-up paint on it, but I do want to hit it with a little bit of sandpaper and do it just enough, and then I'll buff it back out again.
Okay, but once you go down that road, once you go down through the red, now you got to paint the red.
Not going through the red. I'm just going to sandpaper.
You heard it here first. Yeah. Okay. We got plenty of
Feel
sand.
this.
Yeah, I know. It's
high.
Exactly.
So... What do you think? Maybe a 1,000 grit?
I think you're going to sand through the red and it's going to be like ongoing, like you amputate your finger, but now you got to amputate your arm. If anything, wait, you get 2,000? Don't do it with 600. This is 2,000. All right, for anybody that doesn't know, Bondo, you can speed it up the process with a little bit of heat, just warm, or you can put it out in the sun, a day like today.
Slightly tacky.
Okay, now what Glenn did is he sanded, put a little of this, it's from the Ducati, the touch-up paint. Some of the spots here, we're going to try to buff them out. Luckily, we know a man with a $500 buffer. Every time I tell somebody your buffer gets $100 more.
I think this is a pretty good candidate next season, winter rather, for a restart.
And then you can dress this all in.
You know, this is my daily rider, and it gets a lot of use. This is,
and you're rough on equipment.
I am.
Let's be real.
I am. My ex-wife can attest to it.
I can attest to that. I don't even like you. Wow. And this is a bike, he's got an intimate relationship. We've taken the engine out. He's putting the engine back in with the water pump attached. What an ordeal. Ay, ay, ay.
And the swing arm. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. That's my new saying. Ay, ay, ay.
Look for that video if you want to see a treat.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God Luciano was here. The voice of reason.
No, let's not get too reasonable. Now this is okay. This is going to be fine. You can force dry this to a point, but you can't make it go in 2 minutes. Now what you could do while you're waiting for these...
I hit these a couple
Okay,
with some
hit it with the buffing wheel.
I'm going to do that now.
Put some of your magic compound on there.
I'll do that now.
Get it all over the mirror if you... We will not mention any names.
His name, his Italian name.
Just for anybody who doesn't know, let's just see. This was a scratch. There are several. There's one we didn't even do yet. But the point is, here's what happens with a scratch.
Anybody that gets afraid, like my buddy Steve gets afraid when he sees sandpaper going towards his fairing, he freaks out.
Well, because they don't know. There, what do you got, 2,000 grit there?
2,000.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, 40.
Oh!
Okay, so that type of a look.
You have that fogged out now. But see now, if you could rub, here's the test. If you could rub your finger on this and you can't, and close your eyes, you can't feel it, good chance you'll get most of it out.
Right.
But if you all of a sudden feel a ditch, it ain't, because you got to get the clear to go down the level of the ditch, and by that time, sometime you're into the red.
Right. So we're going to give this a shot.
Buffing, baby. Here we go. Look, look at that mirror. Wow. Good thing I own stock in a Windex company. Oh my God, I'm getting a headache. And we did a whole video on buffing, on buffing this guy here. So this should be, don't go up into this thing yet. And don't go into the Bondo. If you get that Bondo in the wheel, you throw it away.
Yep.
This is where you can tell who went to the gym and who went to Deal's Gap. Jim, Deal's Gap.
I'd rather be at Deal's Gap.
In the rain, with Steve with a flat tire.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I need a
Oh, the bucket's out in the garage. Let me go get your schmutz off of there. Let's see if it's coming out. Oh boy, it's a ton better than it was.
Yeah, and we didn't even do the second one yet. So
it's not show quality, but you know what? I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. In the fall, painting these parts when it's not the riding season is... And right now it's the riding season. You're supposed to have this done in the winter when it's snowing out. I want to see if I can see myself in it. Yeah. Can I? Oh, yes. All right.
I mean, this is where a lot of the schmutz will show up, but...
Yeah, now the Bondo, it's still there. You just... Don't worry, you don't even see that. No, we're not going to do that today.
I mean, you're talking about a 17-year-old motorcycle that's got 32,000 miles on it already. So this fairing...
That's nice.
That's 32,000 miles on this fairing without any repaints or anything like that, so...
See, now you're learning the stuff that you need to do to upgrade these parts and buff them and repair them. Not many people know how to do that, and when you can do that, boy... Mark, I know, can put the tabs on now, and... Right. He's working with the CA in that.
So here's where the stress crack is, and you can still see the crack. Unfortunately, you can still see it. It's smooth, it's been sanded, it's actually been filled in with a little bit of red, but because it's uneven, your eye's always going to pick up on that
of course.
Little mountain there. In the back, the CA's already been completed, so I know the strength
But it's not, the purpose of this is that you don't go for a ride and it's here, and the next day it's here, and then all of a sudden this piece of the fairing flies off and hits, you know, the guy riding behind you.
It's Luciano. Don't want that. So, I mean, as far as what we have to accomplish today, it's done. And over the winter, it's going to get a full spray.
Yeah, well, this will be a good project because you know this is you're going to have this bike for a long time.
I mean, it's super shiny, except for the...
And if you have... Just some fun facts. That red bike that you see there is my 750 track bike that became the Green Ninja. And this was an adventure you couldn't even make up. This, I thought I'd include just a few pictures of what we had to take the engine out of this bike at one point in time. Glenn and Luciano both came over. We did it in my garage with 3 people. And you needed every hand and every, oh my God, was it a job. And I had taken a lot of the typical Japanese engines out of the frame. It seems like they're a lot easier to do than a Ducati, but... This was the first one I had ever done, and getting all the stuff disconnected, and There are some tricks to doing this on an ST2. One of them that I remember is trying to do it without taking a water pump off. And we've struggled with that, and Glenn found some information on YouTube. Luciano knew some tricks that he's a professional mechanic. Of course, he knew some tricks we tried. And there was a lot of times we needed 3 people all together to do this. It was really a job. But I guess in a professional environment, you have a lift and jacks and everything. We did this with just plain manpower. And I'm sure Glenn remembers what a job this was. And there's a lot of stuff gets disconnected. And we marked everything with blue tape, and it was unbelievable what fun this was. Now, we had replaced the countershafts bracket. When Glenn bought the bike, it had 1 tooth missing. And so that was part of the adventure. Another thing, he had some issues with the brakes in the very beginning, and that got resolved. But I know this was his entry into the world of Ducatis, and he enjoyed every minute of it. We worked on it as a team. We had a lot of laughs. In fact, I told Glenn, he came over early this morning, and he was a little hesitant about taking the engine out. And I said, Luciano's coming over in about a half an hour. I says, at lunchtime, your engine will be in the baby's wagon. I guarantee it. I guaranteed him. And I kept my guarantee. At lunchtime, when we went to lunch, that engine was in the little wagon you pull kids around in. And that was a convenient way to carry a Ducati engine around. And so we did have some help along the way, putting things back together, taking them apart. It's a great adventure. And this is what's great about motorcycling. When you get a bunch of people together, they work on a project like this, or on any project, even just changing tires or oil changes, you build a camaraderie with people that lasts a lifetime. And in this case, this was the first time I had really ever taken a Ducati engine out. It was a good experience for me to see how much work is involved. And all I can say is, the bottom line for me is always have 3 people, nice big strong people too. Now, from this adventure though, Glenn went on to collect quite a few beautiful Ducatis. He's got a beautiful collection right now. And we all had the time of our life back then. This was when the A-Team was in its prime. We worked right till after dark. It's not funny, we did. And this is the kind of adventures you have that make the world of motorcycling a great place to have friends. And thanks so much for watching.